Hey everybody, welcome back to Testimony Tuesday, and thank you so much for pressing play. And I definitely want you guys to share this testimony because it is like an amazing blessing. So as you may or may not know, there's this couple in my church whose the husband is a mechanic, and he's helping me look for a vehicle because let's just face it, I'm from Chicago. I rode the bus my whole life, and I have no idea how to pick out a car and be sure it's not a complete lemon. So it's a blessing that God brought us across each other's path for him to be able to help me. And also he's been letting me use his loaner car in the meantime, which is also a blessing in itself. So on April 28th, which I believe that was a Friday, I had noticed a couple days before that the car had been making like this howling sound when I make a left turn. So the owner of the car came out and he looked at it and he said, he's like, it looks like from the flap it's starting to get kind of clean. It looked clean. So he's like, that's an indication that it's rubbing against the flap when it's turning the wheel. He's like, but it shouldn't bust your tire or anything. He's like, I'm just going to rig it up and move it back so it doesn't, just make that noise anymore when you're making a left turn. I'm like, oh, okay. And the sound wasn't bad. It was just kind of strange. And I was like, okay, I just want, those things you just want to double check. So, strange thing. So that Sunday, because I told him, I was like, it shouldn't break down or affect anything because I'm going out to his baby dedication on Sunday. He's like, no, it shouldn't be a big deal. He's like, but if in the event something happens, he's like, just call me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So Sunday, I'm going down to Rochester, Minnesota. It's an hour and 20 minutes one way from my house. So I'm driving down there, and all of a sudden, halfway through, I'm noticing like this loud, all of a sudden, there's just like this loud, obnoxious noise. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like just rubbing now. What else broke? Because it's an old car. It's a 2001. It has 220,000 miles on it. So things are breaking. It's going to happen. It's old. So I'm driving down there and I'm like, okay, Lord, you're just going to have to keep me safe because that's an awful lot of rubbing. I wonder, did the flap come apart or what happened? But anyway, on the way back, I had called him and it went straight to voicemail. Now later I found out his phone completely went out of commission. His phone is dead and won't come on and all this different stuff. So he's getting a new phone. So I was calling and went to voicemail. I'm like, okay, the car sounds like a helicopter now constantly and I don't know what happened. So long story short, on Thursday, because the Holy Spirit was like, you need to get this checked out. This is not normal for it to do this constantly. I'm like, oh, okay. So I took it into the Shell station across the street from my house, and lo and behold, long story short, they told me both my bearings were ready to snap, and if they snapped, the wheel would fall off and fly somewhere. And I was like, oh my word, God is so good. Now, and I parked the car in my parking lot. I was able to drive it home because it's right across the street, and I parked it there. And I was able to contact his wife, and she'll let him know about the car. Now, why is this a blessing? And this is why we need to have joy in knowing that God is in every situation, no matter how terrible it seems. So the first thing is that Shell station across the street from my house. God knew that his phone, the guy who owns my car, that his phone was going to die and would not be working for at least a week, because it's been at least a week now. God in his infinite wisdom put me right across the street from a Shell station with some of the most honest mechanics that I've ever met in my life. As a woman, you always fear getting taken advantage of because they're mechanics or car salesmen, and not all of them are honest, but I can trust them, which is amazing. And then also the other blessing is, if I had broken down on my way down to Rochester or on the way back, the guy who owns the car only stays about 45 minutes from there. And the other blessing is, my aunt and uncle like a year and a half ago encouraged me to get AAA, which if you don't have AAA, you need to get it. It is a very good investment just in case you're out of gas, and they tow your car for free so many times a year. So yes, and if someone else, you're with them in their car, it covers that too. Just putting a plug in for AAA. So that was a humongous blessing. And thank God for his protection, because I didn't get into an accident. The wheel didn't snap off and go flying somewhere and I get into a car accident. And thank God, because I had a craft show on Saturday, and who knows, I could have gotten into an accident going there. So thank God for his protection. Thank God for protecting me. Thank God for the Shell station. Thank God for the AAA. And thank God that I'm along a bus line as well, because before I got the car, I was taking the bus to work. And it's a blessing because the bus got me here early enough, because I started at 7 a.m. at work, so I have to get up early. Now, I had to get up early, but God had it so I was able to get to bed earlier last night, and I was able to get here earlier. So it is just a blessing all around. Just remember Romans 8:28, and all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. And I may not be quoting that exactly right, but thank God for his blessings. I will see you guys on Saturday when we continue the series Wisdom in Housing. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye guys.